Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm reviewing Sicario, The Day of the Soldado. This is a sort of sequel slash spin-off of the first film, that it is taking two of the characters, played by Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro, and putting them in a different sort of film, but in the same sort of world. And this is directed by Stefan Salamina. It stars Josh Brolin, Benicio del Toro, Catherine Keener, and Isabella Mona. This story really follows the drug war on the US-Mexican border has escalated, and as the cartels have begun trafficking terrorists across the US border. In order to battle this particular war, take it head on, they hire federal agent Matt Graver, played by Josh Brolin, who reteams with Alejandro, played by Benicio del Toro, to start a particular war to combat this sort of thing by going in and starting a war within the cartels, by killing some of one side, pretending to be the other cartel, and then also in the fact that one of the cartel's daughters is kidnapped, to make it look like the other side has done it. And it sort of really looks at their plan and trying to get them to start their own war and destroy it themselves. Upon trying to get the daughter back, things don't go quite according to plan and they are ambushed. The girl goes on the run, and Alejandro, Benicio del Toro's character, decides to go and try and find her. So it's really about him trying to find her safely and return her back to where it's safe. Her being in Mexico isn't a safe place for her because everybody's out looking for her, other cartels and a variety of things, and if they get hold of her, they can blackmail the other side of the cartel. And it's really a race against time of him trying to get her across the border and protect her and get her across the border safely. That's all I really want to say about the plot. You sort of have to go and see it. I don't want to give away too much of it, and I think I've given away a bit there. Look, this is a solid film. It's well made and well put together. The acting is brilliant. Everybody does a really great job. Josh Brolin's really solid. Benicio del Toro is fantastic in this and does a really, really great job and plays a really interesting character. Catherine Keener is as good as usual. And the young Isabella Mona, who came from Transformers last night, I think she does a pretty solid job too for a young actress. Look, I don't think this is as good as the first Sicario. You had Denis directing it, and you had Roger Deakins, doing the cinematography, and it looked gorgeous and well done. The music was really fantastic, and it was a really interesting sort of film. And this sort of being a spin-off is a solid film in its own right, absolutely, and does a really great job, and an effective job of what it's setting out to do. The only criticism I would have with it is, in the first film, you had the Emily Blunt character that you saw the world through, and that sort of threw you into it, but you saw it through her perspective, which I thought was a really great idea to put you in it. This one, even though the Josh Brolin and Del Toro characters have been established in the first film, so you really sort of know who they are, but you never knew quite enough about them or a lot about them in the first film. And this film, you start to learn a bit more about Del Toro's character, but not a heap. So I felt the first part of this film, I felt very hard for me to get into. I didn't really click with it, and it didn't really suck me in. It wasn't until the scenes with Isabella and Del Toro's characters that the film became kind of interesting. You wanted him to help her get through. You wanted her to survive. You liked the fact he was protecting her, and you start to see the world through her eyes, I guess, in a way. And those scenes were really, really great. And from where they sort of was just them until the end was brilliant. But the first, 30 minutes or 40 minutes, I wasn't really connected with it and was thinking too much about it. It isn't as cleanly shot and beautifully shot as Roger Deakins has done, but the director of cinematography does a really great job here, I think, anyway. There's a really great scene within where they're trying to get the girl back across the border within the Humvee, and there's a big shootout that sort of is a big centerpiece, sort of trying to rival the first shootout that they had in the first film. It doesn't quite get there, but it's an interesting sort of thing. Most of it takes place within the Humvee, and the camera pans around to show particular things. There are shots outside, but the main hub of it takes place within the Humvee itself. The other criticism I would have with it is there's particular storylines and story threads that aren't completely finished off. They're sort of left hanging a little bit. There were certain ones that they were talking about that I felt they should have went into a bit more, and had a clearer ending to that. There are other characters that are introduced for what looks like another film that comes from it, or introduced to move the plot along, but they don't serve a lot of purpose, and there isn't a lot of depth to the other characters besides the main ones. Even though Josh Brolin's really great in it, and Isabella Mona does a great job, and Catherine Keener does what she does best, but what really makes the film is Benicio del Toro, his character and his performance. He's so brilliant in this. He really sucks you in to his character, even though he's a bit of a violent man and a mercenary. It really looks at how he was able to do the things he was doing. We learn a bit more backstory to him. We get to see that he signs, and that is because his daughter was deaf and he learned to sign. And there's just things like that, and the relationship between Isabella Mona and Benicio del Toro's character. The relationship between Isabella's character and Benicio del Toro's character is really fantastic. It's like father and daughter. It sort of reminds me a bit of The Professional in that way. But there's a strong bond that forms between these two people, and that's where that is the strength of the film. That's the strength of the story, I feel, is these two the relationship between these two characters, and him trying to protect her and keep her safe and maneuver through the Mexico, which is kind of dangerous in the areas that they're going through, and trying to get her to safety. But he is so brilliant in this. Benicio del Toro is probably one of his best performances, and I find I've always sort of liked him, but as he's gotten older, his performances have gotten even more brilliant and entertaining and fascinating to watch, and I think he does a really, really great job here. Look, this film does have scenes of violence. I don't think it's overly violent. There are particular scenes and things that take place that are pretty full on, but I just feel the first film's probably a bit more violent in that aspect. Anyway, final verdict. Look, if you like the first one, you may enjoy this. I don't think it's as good, but it is a solid and entertaining film and well made and put together, and it's a great sort of thriller. And if you like that sort of genre, the cartels or hitmen and particular characters like that, this may be the film for you. I don't think this film's going to be for everyone. It is violent at points, and there are some pretty full-on things that do happen within the film. But it's an engaging and interesting movie, and I really did enjoy it. And I look forward to maybe some more films, like a sequel to it, or some more films within that world. Look, I'm going to give this film 4 out of 5. I thought it was a really solid film, really well put together. Wasn't as good as the first film, but it was a spin-off, so it was a little different, but I think they did a really good job. Good job in the end anyway. Anyway, that's all for me today. If you've enjoyed what you've heard here, please hit subscribe down the bottom. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.